Hello, my name is Felipe Quintana, and I am an IE professor teaching courses such as Operation and Supply Chain Management and Sustainability through Supply Chain Management. And Mela, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, mabuhay everyone. I am Miss Mela Habijan. I am a student here at IE taking up a dual degree in International MBA and Master in Creative Direction, Content and Branding. I am one of the luckiest students to have Felipe as one of our professors.
My pleasure, Mela. I'm a professor of sustainability through supply chain management, and always when we refer to sustainability, we mention that there are three spheres: the economic sphere, the social sphere, and the environmental sphere. Talking about the social sphere, this is about people, about the community, about citizens. You can share with us your testimonial about how important is diversity, inclusion, and equity, not only in a business environment, but also as part of the culture of the country, etc. So, Mela, can you give us your opinion about diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I am definitely supportive of the movement towards diversity, equity, and inclusion, most especially that I'm a proud transgender woman. Being part of the LGBTQIA plus community, it has been a difficult experience, especially finding yourself, finding your home, finding your community, establishing who you are, and creating that spirit of belongingness. That's why I am happy to be living at this age in which companies are strengthening their call for diversity, equity, and inclusion because it has forwarded opportunities for us to be seen, for us to have spaces of leadership, for us to simply work and shine the brightest through the work that we do, and have the opportunity to be ourselves and live. I'm very active in the Philippines, and now that I am in Spain, given this opportunity to study here at IE, I am beginning to see the world from a different lens, and whatever I'm experiencing right now, here in Madrid, here in Spain, most especially that it has inclusive laws for LGBT people like me, I'm bringing it with me so that I can share it with others.
For those who are not familiar with those letters, let's discover a little bit more about LGBTIQ plus community, lesbian, gays, trans, bisexual, intersexual, queer, which means like a fluid gender, and plus means other type of gender communities, such as omnisexuals or asexuals. But this is not only about the LGBTIQ plus community, but also any community suffering from discrimination.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about machismo, we can talk about racism, we can talk about ageism, we can talk about religious phobia or Islamophobia, etc. So I'm curious to know your opinion about what are the benefits for a company to practice those three elements and to be inclusive with all the communities that we mentioned before.
One of the benefits is that we're able to give opportunities and spaces to everyone. We can see potentials and talents that can truly advance the workforce. So we don't judge any person regardless of age, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, or any criteria. We just see people as they are. We just look into their talent and capabilities. We see if they match the values of the company, and then we create a productive environment through that sense of inclusion, through inviting a diverse set of talent.
And this is also creating a kind of a space for the creativity and for the innovation.
Absolutely.
No?
And as we create, we also build that sense of empathy. Because of the differences, we allow to hear experiences that are different from us. And we build the feeling of, oh, I don't experience that, but I feel what that person feels. And that makes me more human. What kind of values will I create? What type of character will I become? So that this person who is different than I am will be included in my world.
Just check, Mela, when I teach sustainability, I always say that we need to play the solving problem game and not the blame game. And here I feel that there are 5 main protagonists. governments, companies, citizens, NGOs and foundations, and academia. Let's go in detail about what each one of them can do to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion for all the communities we commented before. For example, government, the challenge is that not all the governments are in the same page. And even in some countries, being homosexual is punished by death or by prison. How do you see this pillar governments can contribute to diversity, inclusion, and equity?
I think governments must function as a protective force of all people. That being said, they should be creating and enforcing laws that would allow people to live, people to become, and people to flourish. They must give opportunities, equal opportunities to every single person in their nation. I am heartbroken by the fact that there are countries in the world that still recognizes LGBTQIA plus people as criminals.
Or an illness.
Or an illness for that matter. And that needs to change through constant conversations, through this session of just merely discussing what we can do as part of the academe. Because we are all interconnected. On my end, it begins at home. It begins with parents knowing the fact that gender can be diverse. That if their kid is born with a penis or is born with a vagina, that won't translate to a gender identity. That won't translate to a gender expression, because these are discovered along the way. And if a parent is open, if a parent is loving, they will assure their kid that no matter what their identities are, they're loved and they're accepted.
We are seeing nowadays some new initiative by some governments. For example, talking about women, Iceland government is now regulating to reduce the gender gap.
Yes,
so
that's good.
Now it's forbidden to pay not in an equal way to men and women in the same position.
Yes.
To achieve that, we need transparency.
Yes.
We need to communicate the salaries.
Absolutely.
And when talking about women, for example, we have some concepts linked to the problem. No? One is the so-called glass ceiling. Glass ceiling means the top that a woman can achieve because being a woman, which is unfair. Gender gap, not paying equally to men and women. And even a new concept that I learned the other day, pink washing, saying that they are very diverse and advertising campaign with diversity when they don't incorporate this as part of the DNA of the company and as part of the human resource policy to hire people in a diverse way, etc. So the regulations are coming very slowly. And to see the regulation practicing equality, inclusion, and diversity in a global scale, I feel that still we need to overcome plenty of challenges. What about companies? Give me some example of companies that are doing something special about that. We learned the other day about the case of Virgin Airlines.
Yes.
With
the uniform
according
policy.
to your identity. And I invite Mela to show now the video.
Involved in this campaign to affect change in this world. I have a trans non-binary child, so for me, changing the world is my job as a mom and as a friend and an ally. I feel fabulous, fierce, and ferocious, and I am ready to take flight.
Be Yourself campaign means absolutely everything to me. I get to be myself, a non-binary person. I have the choice of a uniform, which is a massively big thing. It's so important.
This policy allows everyone to have a seat at the table. It's not taken away from anyone, it's just allowing everyone from the community to just have a voice.
It's not about cancelling people, it's not about removing women or removing men, it's just about more inclusive language.
My pronouns are, to be fair, any pronouns, she, her, they, them. I feel great, I'm not gonna lie. I feel very swell. I put it on, I said, yeah, it just feels very much like me. Like I feel very affirmed in this. Like I just feel like myself. I love it.
If we are clean and we are pressed and we are looking the way we're supposed to look, then why aren't we able to present as we identify? And that's what's so beautiful about Virgin Atlantic.
Virgin Airlines is such a prime mover of diversity, equity, and inclusion because when you present yourself to the world, you become confident if you come as you are. And that brings about change, and that translates to productivity. And I guess I've seen a lot of multinational companies that I have been involved with that has raised the bar in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm now seeing women leaders in different multinational companies in the Philippines. And that's something to be proud of. Unilever Philippines has been hiring LGBTQIA plus people, and one of my friends, a trans woman, is also now part of the company. Before, it was impossible for trans women to be there, to be in a corporate workforce. We're limited only to fashion, beauty, and sex work for that matter.
Fortunately, inside the discipline that I teach, operation and supply chain management, nowadays only 30% of the top positions are occupied by women. So still there is a lot of space for improvement, but it's so great to see those examples of companies proactive in this. And what about citizens? Which is the role of citizens when talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I think it's really about culture. I've mentioned a while ago about homes, that the home is a very important foundation of culture, of building an inclusive culture of a nation. When the home regards women as empowered, when the home regards LGBTQIA plus people, as potential game changers, then we change how we think of women. We change how we think of old people. We change how we think of people of different colors. Because inside the house, we already see diversity at work. That's why in recreating a culture of diversity and inclusion, all families must unite, all people must unite within their communities to understand that differences really make the world colorful and beautiful.
And Mela, the other protagonist is NGOs and foundations, and one of the 17 development goals, number 17, is collaboration for the goals. The meaning of this goal is you are not alone. You have the collaboration of plenty of NGOs and foundations. I feel that is a very strong message, no? To always find support and to always speak out and to find companies such as NGOs and foundations helping people, companies, and government, no?
Absolutely, and NGOs are the proud advocates and activists of equality. They have become watchdogs to really check government, companies, the culture, to assure that respect for diversity and inclusion is happening in our society. So I salute all the NGO workers, all the organizations thriving and continuing their advocacies and activism. Across the world, we're seeing women organizations, we're seeing intercultural organizations against racism, against ageism. I take pride to be part of one. I'm one of the national conveners of the Pride movement in the Philippines. Last year, we gathered 110,000 people, and that's a huge thing for the Philippines because we're able to establish the largest Pride March movement across Southeast Asia. And that's a good call for all Southeast Asian nations to do the same because it's a pretty conservative region in the world. But as Indonesians and as Singaporeans and as Thais see us move in the Philippines, we get to inspire them as well. So all NGO workers, I salute them for they continue and they're never stopping from doing the work and activism.
And so I'm curious to know how do you feel here in Madrid and how do you feel at the IE Business School? Tell me your experience, please.
When I applied for IE, I was surprised when they asked about my live name and my gender identity. Because in my legal documents, I'm still regarded as male, and I'm still my dead name. But when IE told me that I can use my live named Mela, and my gender marker in this school is female, and I'm regarded as a woman, I felt seen. And that is something that I shared with the Filipino people, because at the moment, transgender students are not allowed to come as they are. They're being forced to cut their hair. They're not allowed to dress up as girls or as men for trans men. And that's saddening. But through being included here at IE, I'm able to show the Filipino people that it can be done and it should be done.
How do you feel inside the classroom? Do you feel equal opportunities for you? Do you feel that your peers accept you? Do you feel the country is working hard toward that equity, inclusion, and diversity? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a voice inside the classroom. I can speak freely, I can dress freely, I can come as I am. More importantly, no one has misgendered me. In fact, since I came here, I have never been regarded as a man. And that is a huge difference into my experience coming from the Philippines. Because when people hear my voice, it changes from ma'am to sir. It changes from a woman to man. So that says a lot. That says a lot.
And also, I have the opportunity to see you at a master ceremony in a welcome talent event.
Yes.
And I organized the biggest LGBTQ plus event in June. So it's an opportunity to join together companies, students, former students, to speak out, no?
Absolutely. That's why if you have an advocacy for equality, if you're a woman and you think you need to have that space to thrive and you need to push yourself towards being seen, now is the time to speak up, because you shouldn't be silenced. Or if you are a queer person, if you are a person of color, always take up the space to be seen and to be heard, because that's the opportunity for us to be understood by the world.
Or if you feel any discrimination, or if you see any discrimination. No?
Absolutely. Stand for it. Stand against it. It's very important. Most especially, I know a lot of you are very much involved in social media, and it has made a difference. It has created an impact across the globe. So if we keep on amplifying the message of equality and diversity and inclusion in our own ways, then we could solidify this movement, because it has been long overdue. I mean, it's 2024. Women are still being seen as a second-class citizen, and so are queer people. So we're inviting everyone to just simply stand for our causes, stand for the people that we love, stand for people who are different. So
and who deserve an opportunity.
Yes, and who deserve an opportunity, because we all deserve this to shine.
What means the word ally for you? I mean, you can adopt a proactive approach, even when you are not part of the community, when you are not part of one of those communities receiving discrimination. What can we do as allies?
Allyship is friendship for me. And to be a friend means to be there, especially at the hardest parts. Because some friends will only be there during the good times. But true friends are those who will stand by you at the darkest moments of our lives. So allies will always rally behind the people, their friends who need help, who see and experience discrimination along the way. So if you're an ally of a woman, be there for women. Amplify the message of equality for women. If you're an ally of the queer community, don't just march during Pride. Ask your future employers, what can we do for the queer community? Do we have policies implemented for diversity, equity, inclusion? Or if you're going to be parents in the future, how will you regard your children? Will you accept them if they're women? Will you treat them right if they're queer people? Because it begins with you.
Well, finally, Mela, thank you so much for your collaboration. It has been a pleasure to have this interview with you and to see your point of view. We need to do our part.
Absolutely.
Every single action counts when talking about sustainability. So I hope you have learned some important messages. Thank you, Mela.
You're welcome and thank you. I hope to see all of you soon, and good luck with all the requirements here in school.
Thank you.